So the things will be today. We'll be getting done the Gira today. We'll be getting done the DevOps Sager today. DevOps Sager is actually very easy because the Agile ALM followed the DevOps interface. Okay, so you will see DevOps Sager is piece of cake. Gira will be piece of cake because you already know the all functionality of the Agile ALM because they have the same functionality, only the different interface or different way of doing things. So the tools are easy. The second will be, you both will be showing you how to write user story for our chat application. Like the way we do this, we first open your brain to write the user story of the existing feature. So that's your kind of the training. The next one you'll be writing yourself. That will be given. That will be our accounting platform user story. That's your work will be accounting platform. And I will be giving the 10 minutes, what is called the overview and the recording and what is called the show and tell. And then you actually, based on what you learn with the chat application user story, you will be start writing the accounting user story. Once you start the user story, you will see your brain start hurting. Because the writing user story, it is an art. You have to think a series of the checklist to consider. And you have to write in a way that the development team member understand. Testing team member can understand. Backend team member can understand. Front-end team member can understand. Mobile app developer can understand. Database engineer can understand. It's an art because we are writing the user story from the requirements, because business give us the requirement, they do not give us the user story. They give the vanilla English language and we convert into the user story. Means the user story is technical part that our development team can understand. So that will be the goal. Good deal. And based on this user story, our QA team will be actually creating all the test cases. And you have to review those test cases, not me. Because based on the user story, all the test case will be written. Right? Test case will be for the website, test case will be for the API. Based on the user story. So now you see why you have, so the manual test case you can understand like it's a vanilla, right? But the API one, if you do not understand, right? It is difficult for you to become productive if you do not know how each of the requirements converted into the backend API, what the request needed, what the response needed. The more you know, the best you will be in your project. One more time. The more you know user story, and then immediately API, the best you will be. Why? Because the front-end developer will reach out to you, how this API works. Mobile app developer will reach out to you how this API works. Tester will reach out to you how this API works. Even the DevOps engineer will reach out to you how this API works because you know it. Because every single API is being developed based on the user story. Make sense? If it has to be a API, that's the reason you need to know the basic, the API structure, testing, and of course, when you know the testing, you already know what have to the positive outcome, what will be the negative outcome. Make sense? So there is no alternative that you can ignore the API testing part. And once you do the API testing part, now you understand the API testing, you know the manual testing, means how many test cases has been covered. You are not testing it, but you're reviewing those test cases. Why? Because the QA, they will have the limited knowledge for the user story. Why? Because they have not written the user story. You are the one who know all the details about the user story because you have written this user story and you got the approval from the team. Make sense? So your user story will be played out throughout the project. throughout the project. Every single development team member will be touching the user story you have been writing. You see how important it is? Because the feature is collective user story become a feature. So once you know the entire, all the user story, then you already know what is this feature about, right? And the many features combine an epic. So now you know this. Once you know the many features, epic means something big, something very big. Make sense? So you start going into the user story. Good deal? Any question?